Someone has done God's work and has cataloged a complete Nintendo Wii set of games. User Nintendo Tweezer on Nintendo Age posted his every game made for the Wii, which is 1,262. So that doesn't include the variants, the demos, the 2-packs, and the Netflix disc. The Netflix disc, you needed to run Netflix. I think I have that somewhere. I think I found it at the swap meet. One game was released in 2016, Just Dance 2017. They're pretty confident that's it. I mean, I can't picture at this point. Pretty good run. There was games regularly on the Wii for like 7 years about. So I think that's a good run. Very good run. So let's go on to my favorite website. I love you guys. You guys are just a kick in the balls. I mean, that's what you threatened me on the website for, but you know. So let's go. Let's run through this. And again, thanks to Nintendo Tweezer for doing this. Someone had to do it. Mike Edler did it for the NES back in the late 90s, and while it wasn't totally accurate, you have to start somewhere. Someone's got to get down to the nitty-gritty and go at it. So North American set of games, 1,262. Shared a spreadsheet because he's a nice guy. What does or doesn't count? We went over it before. What doesn't count? He has like a little FAQ. Is it a good time to collect for the Wii? Hell yeah! He says, as any long-time collector will tell you, the cheapest time to collect for a system is when it's at its low point. And yes, the prior generation, if not 2 generations, is the low point. So in terms of collecting for the Wii, he's absolutely right. You're at a time now when, you know, a lot of these games are dirt cheap. There's a lot of ones out there that no one either knows about or cares about. It's weird that a system that has over 1,200 games isn't really, like, you can't start just rattling off, you know, even 100 Wii games that people care about, you know, or 50 games. It's almost like it's the GameCube where you have like your few dozen games people care about, and then, but unlike the GameCube smaller library, and then you have a bunch of fucking shovelware that's like 950 fucking games, you know, after that. So that's where you're at, though. So if you want to get into collecting, you know, go for it. If you honestly want to collect it, in terms of the value going up, I'll get into that in a bit. So, this collector said, bought a ton of games for under $5, many in the $1 to $4 range. Didn't pay over $45 for a single game. So there you go. He bought him a lot of GameStop, buy 2, get 1 free. This person's fascinated by the Wii because it sold over 100 million. Yeah, it's a very successful Nintendo. It's the most successful Nintendo console. Let's go over some of the lists here. There's a video put together of the top 40 rarest Wii games. This is where I understand why you would do this, but I question the timing of picking just the 40 rarest, because I think you're going to unfortunately influence people's buying patterns a little bit. Because, hell, there's not a lot of fucking Wii collectors out there. You might get some people just drop on and saying, oh, I want to collect the 40 rarest Wii games because this guy said that it's rare and I want the value to go up on it. So you might get some weird artificial inflation from this. I'm going to take one of the games right now and look at the cost of it. So, you know, it's tough to put a list together like this because you're at a stage now where there's still stores selling these games brand new. I'm not talking about necessarily like a GameStop, but I'm sure if you go out to some electronic stores, they have new old stock in the back. It's still on display, some of these games. It's in clearance bins at some stores. Some supermarkets probably have Wii games there still. You know, these games are not all accounted for by a fucking long shot, especially given the fact that such a weird percentage is like shovelware and sort of caching games. You know, we're talking Atari 2600 stuff here, where you gotta, you figure out how to work a game where you move your hand around. All right, this is the 10th bowling game for the system now. You know what I mean? Like, this is a system that's like a mile wide and an inch deep. That's really what the Wii is. There's one game on this list This is the top 40 rares. Let's see. Let's Sing 2016. There's someone on eBay right now that's selling new old stock of it, or just new stock. So it's readily available, and who knows how many copies. Let's see. Let's Sing 2016 Wii. It's $22 sealed. $22 sealed, but more than 10 available, 19 sold. And I was tracking this game for a few months because this was the hottest game that's now going to be like the Steam events I saw posted. And it's like a ton of fucking copies showed up because this, let's see, Closeout Goods. It's a wholesaler that gets stock that no one wants, and they're sitting on a bunch of these games. So if they are, who knows? So it's tough to start labeling these games. Again, I'm not trying to put this person down. I think where it's a little bit too soon. You can say, I'd be more comfortable with someone saying these are probably going to be the rare games over time versus these are probably going to be the more common ones versus saying these are definitely the 40 hard to find games. I think it's a little premature for that right now. We're not 20 years out from the system being released, and we're only technically really about 4 years of it being dead. And in terms of games being produced, we're less than a year of games being less than a year past of games being produced. So I'm cautioning everyone when you're collecting for a newer system. If you're going to collect, don't collect just for the rarity, because I think you can't really tell straight up that soon. I think you got to go at least 2 or 3 generations way behind before you can say, okay, my fucking 5 and dime store. Is there any 5 and dimes anymore? My local store down the street has this Wii game that's supposed to be rare, and they have 50 at the dollar store down the street. They have 50 of this shovelware game, and that, I mean, I can't imagine trying to gauge the rarity of these games based upon the fact that there's so much shovelware. I remember going to my flea market back in New Jersey still in 2000, and when I still lived there in in 2009, 2008. There was tons of new shovelware, even at the flea markets. It somehow got there even from the stores to the flea markets, selling Wii games. Just in these boxes. Like, it was just garbage. So let's see. Let's just see what else he has to say here. But that's what I'm going to caution about just that, though, right now. There's a very rare list of games, uncommon games, common but desirable. Then the complete Wii set, which it looks impressive, and he has all the multicolored Wiimotes, which is pretty cute. To me. So if you're going to collect for a system, he does it for the proper reason. He's doing because he loves the Wii. He has an interesting story behind it. Don't collect the Wii if you think it's going to be worth $1 million 20 years from now, or it's going to be like the NES or even Super Nintendo or even N64, which is rising a little bit, but I don't think that's going to go up forever. Just because, again, shovelware, tons of games, a lot of these games are not desirable. When you look at some of these very rare games, okay? At the very least on the NES, a lot of the very rare games are fun. A lot of those title late releases, Little Samson, you get like Bonk's Adventure, you get Panic Restaurant. You have some solid ones there that, okay, if I want to dish out a lot of money, these are at least fun games. And even with the very uncommon games, you can find that. Because a lot of the later releases, once you get to like 92, 93, they only put out some games that, these are games that, more limited. Like Mega Man 6 is a little bit more limited than the rest, But on this list, you have stuff like National Geographic Challenge, Chuck E. Cheese sports games, Cyberbike Cycling Sports, American Mensa Academy. There's about 15 different racing games on here from the top four. Burger Bot. Okay? So, Fritz Chess. Aqua Panic. Get Fit with Mel B. Oh, Mel B from the Spice Girls? All right, I'm on board with that. So, what you're going to see, though, then, is maybe those 20 or 30 completionist collections. Even if there's going to be 30 Wii completionist collectors out there, I'll be shocked. At least this year. Give it 30 years, and maybe you're going to have all those kids that finally remember playing Wii Sports going out in their 30s when we're in our 70s, and then buying it. You know what I mean? Like, and buying all these. But even then, I don't see that happening because these weren't games that were ubiquitous at all. There's no way you could have known all these games were being released. You know, it's not like Nintendo Power was going to be advertising, My Horse and Me Riding for Gold. And maybe they did, but you see my point, though. There's too many games coming out from them to really track all this garbage that's on this system. Then there's common but desirable games. I think that's where this is going to end up. I think the Wii is going to end up where you're going to have everyone rush to get those 100 or so games that people actually care about, that want to play. And that's like Kirby Dream Collection, Godzilla Unleashed, Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. So Samurai Showdown Anthology. Ooh, that's a cool idea. I think I want to get that. So see, then even I'm intrigued by some of these, where it's like, oh, okay, obviously games like Xenoblade Chronicles. You have your Metroid Prime collection on there. That trilogy collection. Stuff like that. I think is what people are going to want to come back to for this system. So let's everyone give a big hand to this individual. His name's Aaron, actually. Aaron, good job, buddy. You did God's work to get us to a good, more than good starting place, and we'll see. We'll see how many people get on board with the Wii going forward. It'll be interesting to see how this evolves, how this gets tweaked. If there's any more games that might be found or not, but probably not. It's easier to track through. Nowadays how many games came out, and I don't think there were licensed Wii games. So it'll be interesting though to see, like I said before, what games will drop from being uncommon or rare just to being common when they find a box of 1,000 of one game in the 40 rarest games, which is totally possible. Finding a pallet of these games or just boxes scattered all around the U.S. like my pal Tim Atwood.